22. Surprising psychological facts which make you amazed. The psychology of the human mind is a very fascinating subject. It's been studied extensively, but for the most part, it still largely remains a mystery. In fact, it's one of the least understood things in the world. Nonetheless, a lot has been learned about how the mind works. Without further delay, let's explore some interesting human psychology facts that may surprise you. Number 1. A New Orleans hotel offered a $155,000 stay to whoever stole the most outrageous item from them. In March 2019, the Roosevelt Hotel in New Orleans decided to celebrate its 125th anniversary by offering a free 7-night stay in its presidential suite, along with complimentary private dinners and spa treatments worth a whopping $115,000. But this wasn't a standard giveaway. The prize was only available to the person who returned the most outrageous item ever stolen from the hotel. Number 2. A cornflake in the shape of Illinois sold on eBay for $1,350 in 2008. Two Virginia sisters found a cornflake that was shaped like the state of Illinois and sold it on eBay for $1,350. Monty Kerr, the owner of a trivia website from Austin, Texas, was the buyer. He explained to the local press that he wanted the special piece of cereal for his traveling museum. Number 3. People rise to our high expectations and don't rise if we have low ones. The Pygmalion effect is a psychological phenomenon in which high expectations lead to improved performance. In a famous study in the 1960s, researchers told teachers that random students had high potential according to their scores on an IQ test. They found that those identified as high potential students did end up becoming high achievers, at least in part due to their teachers' heightened expectations. Number 4. You reconstruct your memories. Since our recollections always play like little movies in our minds, we think that our memories are saved and stacked away like files on a computer. In reality, however, every time you try to recollect any information from your past, your mind reconstructs the memory. This means that no two recollections of the same memory are ever the same. Yes, you actually reconstruct a memory every time. So, it's possible for you to add things which were not there or miss things that actually were. Number 5. The amount of copper on the Arizona Capitol building roof is equivalent to nearly 5 million pennies. The copper roof of Arizona's Capitol building in Phoenix is undeniably impressive, especially once you learn that it's the equivalent of 4,800,000 pennies. That's a heck of a lot of pocket change. Number 6. King Charles owns all the swans in England according to British law. Any unclaimed swan swimming in the open waters of England and Wales belongs to the British royal family, more specifically the King. After the death of Queen Elizabeth II, the swans became the property of King Charles III. Number 7. Our brain doesn't think. Long-term deadlines are so important. Yeah, you could probably start on that big project for work or school now, but you've got several months. Before you know it, those months are gone, and you're scrambling to cram months' worth of work into a matter of days. Urgent, unimportant tasks are more appealing. They provide instant gratification because they're quicker and easier to cross off your to-do list. Our brains process short-term deadlines, like those measured in days, better than long-term ones, such as months or years. Number 8. You think others are more easily influenced. There is a psychological phenomenon that is called the third-person effect. This phenomenon is a personal bias that mass media messages and advertising have greater effects on others than ourselves. This bias is even greater when you don't particularly care for the source of influence. But the truth is that many advertisements subconsciously affect your mood, attitude, and what you want. Number 9. Someone tried to sell New Zealand on eBay. That's right. A man from Brisbane, Australia, tried to sell New Zealand on eBay in 2006. The listing described the country as the dodgiest American Cup win ever and said it has very ordinary weather. Despite those selling points, the ridiculous auction gained a ton of interest. The starting bid was 1 cent. And after 6,000 hits and 22 bids, the selling price for New Zealand climbed all the way to $3,000. Number 10. There is an immortal jellyfish when it's an adult. The immortal jellyfish, scientifically named Toratopsis, Dorney, can transform its cells back to its childhood state. This usually happens when it is physically harmed, sick, or even when it is starving. The jellyfish evolved this skill in order to survive throughout history, specifically when latching onto ships since it can hitchhike. Its DNA has spread and the not-so-rare species is emerging all over the world. Number 11. You overestimate your reaction to future events. You must have, at one time or another, wanted something so bad that you believed when you have it, you'll be much happier. But that's not always how things turn out to be. That's because mostly, our level of happiness stays about the same, and it always reverts to a steady norm. The actual truth about how you feel about future events is that you often overestimate your reactions to them, both the positive and the negative ones. Number 12. The majority of people in Iceland believe in elves. A 2007 University of Iceland survey found that 62% of Icelanders believe in real-life elves. The country's elf history dates back to Viking-era poems from around the year 1000 to Icelanders. These elves are not tiny figures who build toys for Santa. They actually look very much like humans and can range in size. Number 13. The wood frog can hold its pee for up to 8 months. Talk about having to go. Wood frogs in Alaska have been known to hold their urine for up to 8 months, sticking it out through the region's long winters before relieving themselves once temperatures increase. The urine actually helps keep the animal alive, while it hibernates with special microbes in their gut that recycle the urea into nitrogen. Number 14. You like bite-sized pieces of info. The human mind prefers to have information in small bits and pieces. It's much easier to understand and retain things this way. People generally have a defined attention span, and there is a limit to their information retention capacity. However, because of this, communicating informative content can be rather tricky, because oversimplification can lead to loss of crucial aspects of the information conveyed. Number 15. A pharaoh once lathered his slaves in honey to keep bugs away from him. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt were believed to be literally divine. The word pharaoh itself means great house, as in the house of God. In fact, King Pepe II, who supposedly ruled for 90 years, thought so highly of himself that when he was bothered by insects, he would command that one of his slaves be covered in honey to lure the flies away from himself. Number 16. The fire hydrant patent was lost in a fire. The fire hydrant patent is credited to Frederick Graff Sr., who was the chief engineer for Philadelphia Waterworks during the early 1800s. Unfortunately for Graff Sr., the patent was destroyed when the patent office in Washington, D.C. burned down in 1836. Number 17. Your words can manipulate perception. Did you know it is the words that are used to describe a situation that determine your perception of it? For example, if someone describes a car accident to you as contact, you won't have a terrible mental image of the crash, even if the accident was a bad one. On the flip side, if an accident is described as a smash, your mind will paint a terrible picture of the crash, even if it wasn't so bad. Number 18. Cows kill more Americans each year than sharks do. While sharks account for about 53 bites per year, only one of those ends up being fatal. Cows, on the other hand, or hoof kill around 20 people per year. Number 19. Dogs like squeaky toys for a dark reason. Ever wonder why your little puppy obsesses over those squeaky toys? Because dogs are descendants of wolves whose instincts include hunting smaller animals. The sound a squeaky toy makes is very similar to the sound a small animal makes when being hunted. Number 20. You know how to do things you've never done before. This is possible because your brain forms an idea or picture of how something works. It's called a mental model. So, if someone told you they did something you have never tried before, your mind creates pictures of how they could have gone about it. This is the concept that is put to practice when you find yourself with tools and gadgets you've never used before. Your mind automatically forms some assumptions on how to use it. Number 21. America's first bank robber deposited the money back into the same bank at the Bank of Philadelphia on August 1, 1798. A sum of $162,821 was stolen from the vault. There was no sign of forced entry, so it was thought to be an inside job. But then they realized a man named Isaac Davis had been depositing large sums of money into the Bank of Philadelphia. It turned out he was one of the robbers involved in 1799. Davis ended up repaying the money without serving a day in jail. Number 22. You can literally die from having your heart broken. Stress, cardiomyopathy, often referred to as broken heart syndrome, is a condition in which the heart muscles suffer severe weakness due to extreme emotional or physical stress. A young person may actually be able to handle it, but it can be life-threatening for the elderly. This is the reason behind cases where one partner of an elderly couple passes away and then the other follows shortly after. The human mind really is fascinating. What do you think? Which psychological fact did you find most surprising? Do you know any other facts about human psychology that you would add to this list? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell so when we post a video, you get notified. Thanks for watching.